Cereal is one of the most consumed breakfast foods in the world. It is fast, familiar, and genuinely comforting. But if you have ever paid attention to how you feel an hour after a bowl of your favorite cereal, you may have noticed something. A crash, a sudden drop in energy, a craving for more food even though you just ate. That is not a coincidence. That is your blood sugar telling you something important. But here is what most people do not realize. The problem is not cereal itself. It is the specific cereal you are choosing, the amount you are eating, and what you are pairing it with. Registered dietitians say that with intentional choices, cereal can absolutely fit into a blood sugar-friendly diet. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly how to make that work. Let's start with the science of what is actually happening inside your body when you eat a bowl of cereal. Because once you understand the mechanism, all of the practical advice that follows makes perfect sense. Cereal is primarily a carbohydrate food. When you eat carbohydrates, your digestive system breaks them down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream and raises your blood sugar level. Your pancreas then releases insulin to help your cells absorb that glucose for energy. This is a completely normal process. A temporary rise in blood sugar after eating carbohydrates is a normal physiological response, not something to panic about. The problem arises when that rise is too fast, too high, or too frequent. Registered dietitian Jenna Volpe, RDN, LD, IFNCP, explains that the fiber, sugar, and protein content of a cereal determines its glycemic index, which is essentially the rate and degree to which its carbohydrates will break down and raise blood sugar. High sugar, low fiber cereals push blood sugar up rapidly and dramatically. Lower sugar, higher fiber cereals produce a slow, steady rise that the body handles much more gracefully. So the first thing to understand is that not all cereals behave the same way in your body. The difference between a highly processed, sweetened cereal and a whole grain, high fiber cereal is not just nutritional on paper. It produces measurably different blood sugar responses in real time. Now let's talk about sugar specifically, because this is where a lot of popular cereals go seriously wrong. Many packaged cereals contain significant amounts of added sugars. Registered dietitian Val Warner, MS, RD, CSSD, explains that added sugars increase the total carbohydrate load of the meal and amplify blood sugar fluctuations. Volpe adds that sugars are simple carbohydrates, and all types, even naturally occurring ones like honey, break down and get absorbed faster than complex carbohydrates from starches. The American Diabetes Association recommends limiting foods high in added sugars because they raise blood sugar more rapidly and tend to offer little in return nutritionally. The practical threshold dietitians recommend is straightforward. Look for a cereal with less than 5 grams of added sugar per serving. That is the number to check on the nutrition label before anything else. If the cereal you love is above that, consider mixing half a serving of it with half a serving of an unsweetened cereal to get the flavor you enjoy while cutting the sugar load significantly. Now here's the other side of the equation, which is just as important as limiting sugar. Fiber is one of the most powerful tools you have for managing your blood sugar response to cereal. Volpe explains that fiber slows digestion and carbohydrate absorption, which flattens the curve of how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream. Registered dietitian Juliana Vaca, MSRD, puts it clearly. Cereal with lower sugar and higher fiber content leads to a slow, steady rise in blood sugar, rather than a sharp spike. Dietitians recommend choosing a cereal with at least 3 grams of fiber per serving as a baseline target. One of the best ways to ensure you are getting meaningful fiber from your cereal is to check whether the first ingredient listed is a whole grain. Whole oats, whole wheat, brown rice, and millet all qualify. Whole grains retain their bran and germ, which means they are naturally higher in both fiber and protein compared to refined grains, and they produce a steadier blood sugar response as a result. But choosing the right cereal is only part of the story. What you do next matters just as much. Portion size has a direct and significant impact on blood sugar, regardless of which cereal you choose. Volpe is clear on this. Smaller portions of any cereal will not raise blood sugar as quickly or as high as larger portions of the same cereal. Registered dietitian Paloma Vega, MS-RDN, recommends sticking with 3/4 to 1 cup of cereal at a time as a general guideline for managing carbohydrate intake. For people with diabetes who track carbohydrates, the general target is 45 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per meal, though individual guidance from a healthcare provider is always most appropriate. Now here's the piece of advice that makes the biggest practical difference for most people. Add protein and fat to your cereal. Do not eat it alone. Warner explains that without protein to slow digestion, blood glucose can rise rapidly and drop shortly after, which is exactly the crash and craving cycle so many cereal eaters experience. Pairing your cereal with a protein source, whether that is Greek-style yogurt, regular milk, cottage cheese, or even a boiled egg on the side, slows the rate at which carbohydrates are digested and absorbed. Adding healthy fats like a spoonful of nut butter or a few slices of avocado further reduces the speed of glucose absorption and improves how full and satisfied you feel after the meal. This combination of fiber from the cereal, protein from the dairy or eggs, and fat from nuts or nut butter is what dietitians mean when they talk about a balanced, blood sugar-friendly breakfast. And there is one more strategy worth highlighting, because it is surprisingly simple and surprisingly effective. Move after you eat. Even a short 10-minute walk after your bowl of cereal can meaningfully suppress the blood sugar spike that follows. Warner explains that muscles act like glucose sinks, meaning they use circulating glucose for energy during physical activity. When you move your body after eating, you are essentially opening up an additional pathway for that glucose to go somewhere useful rather than accumulating in the bloodstream. Studies have shown that even brief, gentle movement after a carbohydrate-containing meal is effective at reducing post-meal blood sugar elevation. The takeaway from all of this is that cereal does not have to be the blood sugar villain it is sometimes made out to be. The key is making intentional choices. Check the label for less than 5 grams of added sugar and at least 3 grams of fiber. Look for whole grains as the first ingredient. Keep your portion to roughly 3/4 of a cup to 1 cup. Pair it with protein and healthy fat, and take a short walk afterward if you can. With those habits in place, a bowl of cereal in the morning becomes a reasonable, manageable, and genuinely enjoyable part of a blood sugar-conscious diet. The goal is not to fear your food, it is to understand it well enough to make it work for you. If this video helped clarify how to approach cereal and blood sugar, share it with someone who starts every morning with a bowl. And subscribe for more practical, evidence-based nutrition content that helps you make smarter choices